Hi, thank you for joining me today. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Salesforce.com integration with the Sales Fusion platform. We're going to be walking through what you can expect to see inside of your Salesforce.com environment, as well as some of the configuration settings and options that you have regarding the push and pull of data between the two systems. We're going to start off looking inside of Salesforce.com. Now, when you signed up with Sales Fusion, you were probably given an App Exchange manual. With our system, you download our solution from the App Exchange and you walk through a couple customizations, maybe takes 15 minutes at the most. What you're doing during that process, though, is you're adding a couple custom tables as well as a custom Sales Fusion button. And I'm going to show you where those tables will appear and what information it actually renders. Now, I'm looking at a lead record here. We're looking at Mr. Kevin Miller. But the contacts get populated and customized the same way. So we're only going to be looking at a lead, but just keep in mind that the leads and the contacts do show the same tables and the same button. Now, the first thing I want to show you is the two custom tables of the installation that you will be adding. One is going to be called Web Activity. Now, when you sign up with Sales Fusion, you are also given an analytics script to add to your website. When adding that script, we are able to track all of the activity coming in from your website, and if the person is cookied or known, we are able to assign that activity to an individual rather than an organization. So Kevin Miller here has a lot of web activity. You can see that we detected web activity on March 21st, March 22nd, April 2nd, and so on and so forth. So if I click on any one of these, it gives me even more in-depth information. It tells me the date, it tells me the host name, it tells me the start time and date and end time and date, duration, of course, all of these details that we're capturing inside of the Sales Fusion Web Forensics as well. You also have additional information such as the SIT code, the DMA code, the longitude, the latitude, and so on. Now you can also get more granular information. You can actually see what pages this person actually looked at. If I come down here, we have web pages. Web pages will show you what exactly that person clicked on and what pages they viewed. And if you're not familiar with what page that is, you can see it's a link where I can click on it and it will open up the exact page that the person viewed. If I go back out, I'm just going to back up. You can see that we have a ton of web activity here. So you can sort, you can edit, you can delete. If some of it was testing, obviously this is an internal person, I could go through and delete this activity and start fresh. If I continue moving down, our second custom table is called the Email Campaigns table. Now I will go ahead and start off by stating this new Email Campaign button does nothing. This is actually a part of something that Salesforce.com adds to this custom table, but it doesn't do anything. If I try to access it, it's going to a Salesforce.com campaign, not a Sales Fusion campaign, so keep that in mind. Now these campaigns that are getting logged here are campaigns sent from the Sales Fusion platform. They can be emails, they can be drips, they can be triggers, they can be individual emails sent from the marketing dashboard. You also get some more in-depth information as you click on it, so I'm going to click on this one. And I can see the campaign name, which is the internal campaign name. I can see the subject line. I can see the person's name, of course. And then I get to see the body of the email. Now, this is important to see that we log this because it's going to tie into our configuration settings when we get to talking about those momentarily. You'll also notice that this is not HTML. This is not the HTML version of the email that was sent. It is actually the text version. So if you are not converting to text, we're not going to be able to push anything over here because there's nothing for us to log. So always make sure that you have it in your processes to convert to text so that we're able to log some information here. If you scroll down, you can see, scroll up, you can see the opens and you can see the clicks. So it's logging exactly how many times this person opened and how many times this person clicked. So this is a good quick view for your sales reps to be able to hop in here and see what activities were taken on this particular campaign. I'm going to go back out, and those are just the two custom tables that you'll add when you're doing the installation, email campaigns and web activity. Now the other item that you will be adding that's customized is the Sales Fusion button. Now we have it in two places. We have it here and we have it here. But what this will do is it will open up our marketing dashboard. When I click on this, you'll see it is opening up another tab. Depending on how much information is associated with this person's record depends on how long it may take to render. Now we were looking at Kevin Miller here, and he obviously has a lot of web activity. He has a lot of email campaigns. So you can see that it's still spinning. Again, it will take just a moment. While we wait for that, I'll see if I can open a smaller person. Okay, this person doesn't have too much, so we'll click on this person as well and see if we can get something rendered just a little bit quicker. The Sales Fusion button, again, accesses the marketing dashboard. And on the marketing dashboard, you get to see the recent web activity graph. You get to see the recent web activity in details. You can see emails sent and what actions were taken on those particular emails. My apologies, it is taking just a moment to render. We'll see if we can grab another one. And this is the same marketing dashboard that you would see inside of the Sales Fusion CRM system. So you see here, we're in Kevin, so you got all the recent web activity. Go to Web History, you got all the details, and then you can click on View to see even more details. What pages did they look at? How long did they stay on each page? And more. You also get to see sent emails, and this is a good overview. This is what I would recommend your sales team be monitoring and looking at. The information actually captured inside the custom tables is good, but you have to go into each email campaign to see what actions were taken, whereas here you can see the name of the campaign, the opens, the clicks, the unsubscribes, the forwards, and if they clicked on something, you even get to see what link they clicked on directly from the screen. So it's great information. Compose email. This is what your sales team should be using to send one-off emails to leads or even contacts. You should have them coming in here using our Compose email. You can see it's pre-populated with who it's coming from and who it's going to. Enter a subject line, and you can even choose templates here. Find a template that already exists inside of the Sales Fusion system and insert it, or you can give the person the ability to create their own. The great thing about sending it from here is that we still track this campaign like it was a normal email drip or trigger. When this one-off email is sent to the person, we track if they opened it, we track if they clicked on it, we track if they unsubscribed, and of course if they click, we cookie them. Note that one-off emails do not have to contain the unsubscribe. So if I had an unsubscribe tag in here, I could very easily take it out because according to the CAN-SPAM laws, if it's a one-to-one email, you don't need to have the unsubscribe in there. We also have distribution list. Distribution list, it will show you what list this person belongs to, and then of course your sales team or yourself can drop them into additional lists or remove them from list. Dialogues will show you what dialogues they have completed and how they completed those. If you want to see the results, you simply click on the dialogue, click on View Dialogue Results, and it opens up all the questions. And it shows you exactly how this person answered the questions. Again, additional information for your sales team to take note of before reaching out. For the event management module, if you do have access to this feature, then you will have this tab in your marketing dashboard. And this will list all of the sessions. It will tell you if the person registered, attended, or followed up with. And then, of course, the dialog pop-up will show you how they completed the event registration form. Multi-channel marketing is if you are using our multi-channel marketing module, if you have access to it. What you can do here is be able to see any marketing activities that the person was a part of, and then you can see the value and whether it closed or not. Lifecycle is a cumulative of all this information. It's looking at the web activity, the emails, the distribution list, the dialogues, and when you click on Get Lifecycle Data, it's going to lump it all together in one, so you're not having to look at individual tabs. I'm not going to click it because with this much information from this record, it's going to take a little bit, so we're going to just leave that here. We also have our scoring and our scoring summary, which renders similar information. I prefer to use the scoring summary. This is where you can choose your scoring profile. and you can say, for this scoring profile, tell me how they accumulated a score of, let's say, 20. A lot of times, without looking at this dashboard, you can see the score that exists directly on here. Score A leads. This person has a 0. But maybe it's a 20, 25, 30, 35. Your sales team may not know exactly what that means. So what you can do is you can have them go to the marketing dashboard and be able to see, okay, this is how that person achieved a score of 20 or 25 or 40 or 55. You can see that they were scored on web activity or email opens and clicks or data or a combination of all of the above. So this dashboard should definitely be one of the main areas that you are showing your sales team and showing them how to best utilize it. That's the information that we log natively inside of Salesforce.com. Now, one thing that I do also want to note is that the campaign members list, if you use the campaign members list, we do have the ability to pull those down into Sales Fusion as a distribution list. So you can see, I don't have any in this one, but if I were to view all my campaign members, oh, I do have a couple. This list, campaign call down report, could be pulled down as a distribution list inside of Sales Fusion for me to market to. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of our configuration settings. So I am inside of Sales Fusion. I'm right here under the Administration tab. I went to Administration, and then under External Connectors, I click on Salesforce.com. And let's walk through some options. Now, when you set up and installed Sales Fusion on your Salesforce.com, we had to do an integration. This is where you enter your Salesforce.com username and password. We do the connection, and we're good to go. One important thing to note about Salesforce.com is that they usually make you change your password every 90 days. So make sure that when you get prompted to change your password inside of Salesforce, you always come into Sales Fusion and change the password here as well, so that the sync is continuous. Down here under sync dates, these should, for the most part, always be up to date. You can see here that it's showing August 7, 2012, 9:01 a.m., which is perfect. If I continue scrolling down, this is where we get into our options. For the Salesforce options, you should always have Salesforce.com member checked. Use custom app exchange tables tells the system to log the emails and log the web activity inside of our custom tables. So if I were to go back to a record, it would log it directly in here. If you do not log to our custom tables, then all of it will be lumped into the activity history, web activity, and emails. Again, some people prefer to have it in the activity history. Other people prefer to have it in our custom tables. The option is completely up to you on how you would like to use it. Create new task in Salesforce.com. What this will do is if you are using the scoring profiles in Sales Fusion under here, and if your action is to create a task, then this gives us permission to turn around and push that task into Salesforce.com to the assigned owner. Do not sync between 10 p.m. and 4 a.m. Eastern. There are some editions of Salesforce.com that limit you on API calls. And if you are on one of those editions and you're finding that the API calls are getting a little too high, you can check this box and we will not sync between these hours. Once 4:01 a.m. Eastern comes around, we will go ahead and start syncing again, and it will stop again at 10 p.m. Not everybody needs to do this, so I would pay attention to receiving, if you're receiving any API alerts that you're in an overage or messages from Salesforce.com, then that's when I would come in here and check that box if you start to find an issue with it. Account disabled is obviously to turn the account sync off. And enable IP blocking. This is if you want to prevent certain IP addresses from accessing the Sales Fusion integration, the marketing dashboard, and the web tables. If you wish to do that, you have to have a static IP that we can block that person from accessing. So let's say you have two offices. You have one in Atlanta and you have one in Denver. And only your Atlanta office is using Sales Fusion. But your Denver office also has access to Salesforce. So you could block the Denver office from seeing the marketing button, the marketing dashboard, just by enabling their IP range. That is done under the Administration tab. Under Administration, there is a section called IP blocking. Now, getting down into our push and pull options, let's go ahead and run through these. Allow SalesFusion to insert and update Salesforce.com records. This is if you want us to be able to create new leads as well as update existing leads and contacts. Usually an important thing to do. Allow SalesFusion to update has opted out field. This is corresponding to the unsubscribe field that exists inside of your Salesforce.com. Email opt-out right here. If a person opts out from a SalesFusion campaign, do you want us to be able to update the unsubscribe inside of Salesforce? Most commonly, the answer is yes. Allow SalesFusion to update score field allows us to log the score if you are utilizing the scoring profiles. Allow SalesFusion to update delivery field. So delivery field is also right here. We have delivery status, and as we get a delivery status back, we will log it here, whether a person has been delivered or if they've hard bounced, and if they hard bounced, why did they hard bounce? Allow SalesFusion to push web activity to contacts and leads. Obviously, if you want that information existing on the record, this needs to be checked. Allow SalesFusion to push email sent data. Again, if you want us to log the campaigns, this needs to be checked as well. Now, right here, we have do not push email content, which essentially saves storage space. I mentioned previously how we were logging, if I go back to this record here, how we were logging the text of particular email campaigns inside of our custom tables. There are times when you are sending a lot of campaigns. We have one customer who sends a campaign out every day to about 24,000 people. So if you take 24,000 times 5, because it goes out 5 days a week, that's a lot of data in the body that is coming across. So in that case, they would want to check, do not push the email body. You don't lose any of this other information. You still get the opens, you still get the clicks, you just would have nothing here for the body. Again, it's not a disadvantage because when you look at the actual marketing dashboard, we're still showing you the body of the email there. So essentially, it's still there, it's just not natively existing inside of Salesforce. We also have push delivery status to field. This is where you would need to choose what field the delivery status is going to go to. You will need to create a custom field existing on both the contact and the lead tables. And on the next sync, we will pull it down to SalesFusion, and you'll be able to choose it as an option here. Moving on to the pull items, obviously we have the ability to download opportunities. Why would we download opportunities? Well, one of the main reasons would be to segment based on opportunities. Your email campaigns from our system do not always have to be targeted to nothing but leads. You can also use it for other purposes. For example, if you want to find everybody who's in a proposal stage of an opportunity and send them some additional, maybe some incentive to go ahead and follow through with the proposal, then that might be a campaign you want to drop them into. You could also use it for customer relations. So if you have an opportunity where it's closed, then you could segment based on that and send to people who are current customers. Download tasks, download events, and here's the download campaign members to distribution list. We also have the ability to automatically add new users to a role. Everything in our system is controlled by roles. I will say that the one that you should have everybody automatically assigned to would be sales navigation. Now, your account may not have as many as we do because we've created some custom ones, but every account should have sales navigation. This will give them bare minimum access to just the dashboard, and that's pretty much it. Obviously, the custom tables they'll be able to see, but if you want to grant them additional roles or additional security preferences, then you can definitely do so. This, again, is just a default for new users being added to the SalesFusion system. The last thing I want to mention is the auto-deletion reporting. Now, this is usually not used until you find that you have gone over your allotted database size. Our pricing is based on subscription, based on the database size. So if you are allotted 12,000 records and you find that you have 30,000, you would need to come in here and work with your Sales Fusion rep to lower the amount of records in your system. And you do that using what we call auto-deletion. We basically create a report. Anybody who meets that criteria will get flushed out of the Sales Fusion system only. We don't touch that record in Salesforce, so it stays there. This is where you have to start thinking about what records am I sending to? Am I literally sending to my entire database, or am I only sending to leads? Am I only sending to contacts? Am I only sending to particular industries or titles? And then remove the other records. The sync dates and times, the sync times vary. It depends on the different area that we're syncing. For example, accounts, contacts, leads, opportunities, campaigns, users, and queues. They're on different timing. If you'd like to get some in-detail information about what is synced and how often we sync, I'd recommend you go to the toolbox, go to Learning Management. You will need to log in, or if you've never been here before, you will need to register and create your own username and password. And under the manuals, we have our integration guides, and we have an informational guide for Salesforce. It's called, again, Salesforce Integration. And on this document, the last 3 to 4 pages are detailed information about what we sync and how often we sync so that you know what to expect. Okay? As always, I thank you for joining me. If you have any questions about your Salesforce.com integration, please reach out to either support@salesfusion.com, or you can reach out to your individual Sales Fusion account rep. Thank you so much for joining.